The Justin Robert Young podcast is brought to you, as always, by everybody at patreon.com/JuRY. Thank you, as always, for supporting the show. However, two other real quick things. Number one, we want to continue to make this show as good as possible, and that means that we need to know a little bit more about you. So head on over to twitter.com/JustinRYoung. If you do that, again, twitter.com/JustinRYoung, you will see the pinned tweet right there at the top of the page is a survey. It's very quick. A lot of people who are in this chat right now, I'm pretty sure, have already taken it. But go ahead and check it out if you wouldn't mind. Just a few quick seconds can really, really help this show a lot. Give us demographics that not only we can use for you guys to make the show better, but also to continue to evolve. So check it out. Twitter.com/JustinRYoung. And I'm only going to say this once just because I'm afraid we're going to sell out again. We just put Diamond Club patches up on Stickers or DIAF. We immediately sold out our order on Friday when we put them up. So now they are going to all ship in October, the ones that are ordered now. But go ahead and do it. Check it out at stickersordiaf.com. But enough of talking about how we support the show. What do you say that me and you, we just do the damn thing?
Ugly ain't the half, look at you. Well, you got blue teeth and you only got 2 teeth, but I kinda like to see you smile. And it appears that over the years you've turned into a big old steaming pile. And she said, yeah, I know I ain't no supermodel. I said, you ain't a hand model, baby, but that's fine. You're pretty ugly by most people's standards, but you're all right by mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Justin Robert Young program. My name is Justin Robert Young. So many fun things to talk about today. And thank you to everybody for both those things that happened last week. You know, we put up this survey. We've gotten so much good information. You have no idea. I think I mentioned on the show last week, I'm working with my buddy Damar. Damar is trying to solve some problems for me because I got some problems. I have problems in that, Tamar used to work with me at the Go game, and Tamar's like, hey, look, I know you. I know you're a good dude. I wound up listening to your show because I know you personally. I like your shows. But as somebody who does not necessarily have much of a hook into the podcasting world, I would have no worldly clue how to find you. Not to mention, your shows are good, but you are a professional doing an amateur show, which is true. I think some of the amateur stuff is part of the charm, but in general, she's helping me out. And the first thing she was like, listen, you got to know who you're talking to. So who are you talking to? And I'm like, I don't know, people who are listening on the internet, I don't know. People listen to me. Whenever somebody asks me a question that I don't know the answer to, I just pucker up. I don't know. Why did she have your number?
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people have a lot of different numbers. I'm just saying, well, maybe it was a phone book.
Who'd you vote for president?
Oh, no, I don't know. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, I don't know. Gary Johnson.
I don't know. I didn't know. So she's like, all right, you got to do a survey. I'm like, cool, I'll do a survey. And actually, no, first I was like, well, hey, listen, lady, I have a survey. And I showed her these surveys that I had done for the Patreon people. And she's like, all these questions are useless. She didn't say that, but I saw it in her eyes. She's like, do a good survey. Let me help you write the questions. I'm like, all right, cool. So that's what we're doing. Go ahead and check it out. It is greatly appreciated. And again, I'm actually excited. Today I might actually just sit and put points in a map on where everybody is. That's one of the questions. And I want to do that because I want to get out on the road to do some live shows. I'm going to take, I'm going to call my own number on the first segment. I promised y'all that I was not just going to drag this show into the muck and the mire about my back problems. But I do want to give you guys some fun stories and progress. So here's the progress. My back's getting a lot better. I've been able to walk a lot more. I've had a lot less pain. I'm managing it a lot better. Everything's going good. In fact, it's going so good, it's bad. Now, I'm going to bring this back around, but I think a lot of people who have ever worked on something for a long time start to understand that not all progress is rewarding progress. In fact, once you kind of hit an element of rewarding progress, sometimes progress equals frustration. Because while you know you are making progress, you also know, A, how much further you can go, and you start to get yourself into stickier problems. This is all part of the road to wherever you're going, be it developing a skill or having a new job or, trying to get yourself healthier, right? Be it electively, or in my case, I've had a malady foisted upon me, and now I got to work through it. But I'm going to tell y'all a story that happened this weekend. So my wife, Ashley, works at Twitch, where we broadcast, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. Come on and see us. 5 days a week. And Twitch, like many startups in San Francisco, tries to make their employees happy by any means necessary. And a lot of that sometimes means having a bar inside the office. So they do. So every once in a while, I like to make my way out to Twitch. And so I wasn't planning on doing it this week, but Ashley let me know there were a couple people that I wanted to talk to, and so I headed out there. Went out there the last minute. And I was not super lit when I got there. But, they got some IPA that they're pouring behind the bar. God knows what kind of gravity's on it. I drink 2 or 3 of those, and I'm feeling fine. And so we come back, and both Ashley and I are, we needed to go home. And so we did. Nothing embarrassing or weird happened. So now let me explain to you how I need to sleep at night. All right? This is how I need to sleep at night because of my back. And anyone who's had lower back pain can understand the following. I need to sleep on my side, the side that does not have the sciatic nerve pain going down. So that would be on my right side with my knees fairly high in almost a fetal position. All right? I need to have a pillow under my head. I need to have a pillow between my knees. And I need to have a pillow in my midsection that kind of lifts my hip up so my hip kind of keeps open. So in the morning, it's not as painful. Apparently people were guessing in the chat room here. So we have butt straight up in the air. No, not face down, ass up. That is not the medically required way I should sleep with a back injury. In a casket on hollowed ground. No, that's not true. Head bent over, raise that posterior. Oh, yeah. No, not that either. Not with a body pillow that has an anime girl on it. No, not that. Now, the worst place for me to sleep, is on my back. All right? If I sleep on my back, when my back kind of locks up, moving in any direction is very painful. But if I do wind up on my back, the move is to get my knees up and then to roll over as best I can onto my right side. I explain all of this to you. So that you might understand how screwed I was when I woke up in the middle of the night, flat on my back, on the right edge of the bed. This is the Kobayashi Maru of sleeping positions for me. I could not go anywhere. Couldn't roll to my left, pain. If I tried to roll to my right, I'd be on the floor. Even more pain. I'm now panicking on my back, pain beginning. Mushed Potatoes screaming in the chat room, just take the fall. I can't take the fall. The fall would be intensely painful. So I need to wake up Ashley. And I don't know anybody else, anybody who's been in or is in a relationship, has been in a relationship. Sometimes, there's a mixed emotion that goes into waking up your significant other with health problems. It's like you don't want to bother somebody, right? But also, that they'd be able to help you. They're going to be the people that understand the most. But there's a little bit of male pride, right? Like you don't want to wake up your woman with like, my back hurts. It's not a good look. But I do. I wake her up. And I'm not going to say that the alcohol that we had just been drinking a scant kind of 5 or 6 hours prior was still a factor. But what happened after that was I can only describe as panic. Ashley didn't know what to do. Well, that's not true. She knew exactly what to do. She was very, very calm and cool and collected, but there was also just a lot of us trying a lot of different things and a lot of me going, ooh, ooh, ee, ooh, ee, Now, here's the reason that this happened, and this is where the progress is frustrating, is that when my back was worse, immediately lying on my back would have caused pain and forced me to roll back over. But now that it's getting a little better, some of the guidance triggers are kind of fading a little bit, allowing myself to get myself into trouble. That's exactly what happened. And so we're scrambling around. It's like a pit crew. Ashley's going to different sides. She's dragging me into the center of the bed. We're calling. Kaiser has a 24-hour nurse on call thing. And so she's giving us advice. And eventually we realize that there is only one solution. And that is on my back, like a turtle, to slowly kind of like elevate my shoulder one pillow by one pillow until I'm on my side, and then eventually fully fall over onto my right side. It just needed to, if we would have had a tire jack, that would have been the best way to do it. It's just to slowly like, until I was slowly kind of like on my side, and then I was totally pushed over. Yes, I went full Mitch McConnell. Turtle, 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 turtle. In hindsight, it was very, 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 very funny. I can only imagine what that image must have been, as I slowly am just like, just kind of frozen up because I don't want any more pain to befall me. And I'm just slowly getting tilted over like a car at a riot. It was just like a slow push up, and then finally it kind of went down. Now, subsequent nights, I have been able to get on and off my back fairly easily because it doesn't lock up. I've even been able to sleep a little bit on my other side, which is something that I was not able to do for a while without it making it hurt more. So again, things are getting a lot better. But as anybody who's gone on a long road knows, sometimes better actually means worse. Here's another tale of that. It seems as if somebody has had, the old evil genie visit them. That old monkey paw curse. You're like, oh, I wish upon wishes that I was a famous comic artist. Yes, I want to be like Bill Watterson. I want to be somebody whose image is all over. I want to be the most recognizable comic artist in the world. And the monkey paw twitches and grants your wish. Yes, now you are indeed somebody who has created a cultural touchstone with your art. Unfortunately, it's Pepe the Frog. Fitchip 29 just pictured a Dukes of Hazzard moment where it freeze frames on JuRY before he falls on his side. Just do good, old boys. I'll never mean it no harm. Getting back problems in the mid-30s. That couldn't be wrong. So here we go. Pepe the Frog creator Matt Fury has had a very controversial kind of relationship with his creation. He created Pepe for the totally non-political comic Boys Life, or Boys Club, Boys Life. What is it? Boys something. He was just kind of a stoner. And Pepe was. I don't know about Matt Fury. Who knows? But at a certain point, the video game community kind of co-opted it. Boys Club. Sorry, not Boys Life. And then it became something that was used in 4chan, and from 4chan, certainly a lot of it became synonymous on some level with Trump supporters, young millennial Trump supporters. And he's had a rough go of it. He's had a real rough go of it. He initially, Hillary Clinton called out the alt-right and with it, their memery. Pepe the Frog got called out by name. And so now he's tried to do his best to bring this back. He has been semi-successful. Launched a Kickstarter earlier this year to save Pepe. His aim is to resurrect Pepe the Frog in a new comic book, reclaiming his status as a universal symbol for peace, love, and acceptance. This is after Pepe was ruled a hate symbol by the Southern Poverty Law Center. And now he's taking things one step further. And that means enforcing his copyright on Pepe on some of the folks who have used him the most, including Richard Spencer, Mike Cernovich, the _Donald subreddit. He has issued Digital Millennium copyright takedown requests to Reddit and Amazon. Now, I want to talk a little bit about just the idea of kind of creation and when you own your creation and when you don't. Because obviously, there are elements of this for which he owns. He owns the rights to Pepe. If he drew the thing, then he can say that this is an illegal use of what he's doing. However, there is a point in which you have to say, me chasing down and playing whack-a-mole with all of these different versions of Pepe are either worth my time or not worth my time. And your ability to reclaim Pepe is not dependent on these other examples being non-existent, but rather your example being at war with it. Because, spoiler alert, if these folks who have taken over the use of this thing, this Pepe, if they want to use it casually, then you are not necessarily causing a problem for you, and you are not necessarily causing a problem for them. Here's who you are causing a problem for. You're causing a problem for Reddit. Because with these other people that are running blogs, you can just hit them up and say, don't do it. If you're going to Reddit, if you're going to Amazon and you're saying, hey, this book's got Pepe on it, they can pull it. If you're going to the Google Play Store and you're saying, hey, this is selling a Pepe sticker pack or a Pepe game, don't do it. They'll pull it. Same with Apple. Here's where things are going to get tricky. If you are sending these DMCA notices to Reddit for the _Donald subreddit, oh boy, are we going to get some fireworks at that point? Because then the relationship between Reddit and that subreddit, the body, politic Reddit or the head of Reddit and the _Donald subreddit is already fraught. And this could open up a much wider, angrier situation. I'm curious how it wraps up. And also, I just wonder whether or not you guys listening would, is that success on some level? Do you think that on any level, Matt Fury, obviously this went in a direction he didn't want to, but at the same time, there was something relatable and sticky to his image. People like putting it all over places. Now, it turns out that his boys club comic was not that popular. It wasn't as popular as Calvin and Hobbes, But man, he sure got the Calvin pissing on the Ford logo of the digital age, right? People just co-opted his design and took it wherever the F they wanted. And Bill Watterson tried to stop that Calvin pissing on, Chevy logo thing. That wasn't going to work. It hasn't worked. You still see that shit on cars. And I don't know if this is going to work here either. But Godspeed, Matt Fury. It's his to do whatever he wanted with. And if that means issuing DMCA notices, then that's what it means. All right, let's get to the good part here. New York Post story. We got some upstate New York news. Love upstate New York. Big fan. Let's go ahead and take a look here. I went to college in upstate New York, so let's hear. We got a college story about upstate New York. Let's take a look here. Student goes on hunger strike to get pervy professor fired. This is a story from a couple days ago by Laura Italiano. Sorry. Not Italiano. Okay. A student at the University of Rochester has vowed to not eat until the school fires a professor who's been accused of sexual harassment by 7 faculty members and multiple students who allege he threw wild, drugged-out hot tub parties and pressured female students into sex. The professor, Dr. Florian Jaeger of the university's Brain and Cognitive Sciences Department, even once emailed an unwanted photo of his genitals, according to allegations. Made in a complaint filed with the Federal Equal Employment Opportunities Commission. The hunger-striking student, Lindsay Rohrbohl, says she hasn't eaten since midnight Thursday in hopes of getting Jaeger ousted, she told the Fox affiliate in Rochester. Quote, "It is painful and scary thinking about what comes next," Rohrbohl told Fox on Saturday night as she neared her 3rd full day without food. "I've had nausea, I've had headaches, I've had muscle aches really bad. Anytime I do anything like texting, it feels like work." On August 30th, Rohrbohl and several current and former professors filed an EEOC complaint against sexual harassment by Jaeger. Now let's get into the good part here. TVZ Gun in the chat says, "That's Dr. Dick Pic to you. I didn't go through 8 years of schooling to be called Mr. Dick Picture." I think maybe we should just tell the tale of perverts, and they should all have the Dov Charney voice. Yeah. Hey, come on. You want to see a picture of my dick? Anyway, this is a book open class. Let's hope that's not the only thing that'll be open. Yeah. Oh, God. All right, here we go. This is part of the complaint against him. You want to see a hard pop quiz? Unzip. Thank you, Reverend Puck. He relentlessly pursued and engaged in numerous sexual relationships with students and visiting students, which he flaunted. He had unprotected sex with students, sent unwanted photographs of his genitals to female students, and lamented to others that he might have had sexually transmitted diseases. He used illegal drugs with students and hosted hot tub parties. Female students subjected to his crude comments got the sense that their discomfort excited him. TVZ Gun says, in an unrelated story, the University of Rochester has suspended its plans to bring in Dov Charney as a visiting lecturer. I hear this is where the party is. Hey, Professor Jaeger. Hey, Professor Charney. What's going on? Nothing much. looks like we're going to joint host a lecture called The Eiffel Tower. So, let me tell y'all a story. Story time now. It is my colloquial opinion, in speaking to friends, that school by school there are different parameters for teachers having sex with students. In college, the school that I was in, Syracuse, I believe in general had a lax policy on that. Meaning, you could have sex with a student if you're a professor and you're free and clear as long as they are not in your class. And if they are in your class, you have to report it to your superior. So that was the thing there. And I had heard tell, through the grapevine, of students that had had sex with professors. All right? That was a thing. It happened. And by the way, for the record, by and large, it was a fine experience. Maybe a few hurt feelings here and there, but as long as everybody was on the up and up, and the professor wasn't like cheating on his wife or anything like that, or husband, that it was fine. It was fine. Somebody said earlier when I made mention of this during the pre-show that it was okay to bang a student if you bragged about it to your boss. That's a great way of putting it. So there was one professor who taught a class that was in high demand. Meaning, it filled up almost instantly. It was fairly easy to do. And the professor was a fairly cool guy. He had a pretty out there in the open reputation of, being seen at student parties here and again. Maybe imbibing in some medicinal. Now, I will say that I very much liked this professor. Oh, man. I don't even know how much I need to give out because I don't know if this dude is still out there teaching. But I wound up writing. I could not get into his class, right? But I wound up writing Jesus, how long was it? 15-page, 30-page paper about, God, I can't even say anything without giving this dude away. Oh, I don't know if he's still working there. Fuck it, whatever. I wrote a long paper about Southern rap music. Because I couldn't get into the class. I met with him, and dude was like, hey, Lewis, just write, what would you like to write about? And I'm like, Southern rap. He's like, cool. Just write about that. It was a music class, a contemporary music class. So this wasn't out, it wasn't out, out of bounds or whatever. It was not Professor Fucks-a-Lot. For anybody who was thinking that it was Professor Fucks-a-Lot, it wasn't. But I'm like, hey, I want to write about Southern rap. Cool. Wrote about Southern rap. 3 credits. Bada bing, bang, boom. That is $3,000 worth of credits. Back then, God knows what it would be fucking now. So there was a reputation that he had slept with students. I do not know this for sure, but I know that was a reputation. So sometime later, I am writing a bio about him for the Daily Orange, the student newspaper for which I worked at. And I was calling around to his colleagues. And I called his superior. And I asked his superior because I had been made aware that he was attempting to get tenure at Syracuse University. And I called his superior to ask whether or not this man had a shot at tenure. And his superior was kind of a more reserved individual. And, I didn't think I was going to get an answer, but you got to call and you got to ask. The response that I got, and I can't remember exactly what was said, but the response that I got was effectively the most aggressive way that a old, dusty collegiate lifer, an ivory tower to the max motherfucker, a mayonnaise on white bread, tweed elbow patches. I would have voted for Obama for a third term. Close cropped white hair. Rounded glasses like the motherfucker was in Guess Who. Like that kind of dude could say to me over the phone, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here with that. Fuck you for even asking me that. No, not only no, but hell no. I can't tell you what goes into this process, and I cannot tell you whether or not that is in something that we are even starting to think about. However, I will say categorically, fuck no and fuck you for asking. He was so reviled by his superiors that dude went outside of what he should do to be like, no, he won't get tenure. I don't even know if I published, if that thing wound up getting published either. But holy shit. That was, there was some politics to fucking students, is what I found out that night. Because imagine if that dude is playing it by the rules and he's just like, yup, new class came in. So I am going to let you know, as per the rules of this here establishment, who I am currently in a relationship with. And that shit sounded like the Animaniacs country song. Well, there's Anna, Brianna, Erin, and Steve, and Jemiah and Erin, number 2. There's Jamie and Bethany. I wish I could put it all together. I'm just gonna look up the top 50 girls' names. There's Emma, Olivia, Sophia, and Ava, Isabella, Mia, and Abigail. There's Emily, something. Emily, Charlotte, and Harper and Madison, Amelia, Elizabeth, Sophia, Evelyn and Avery and Chloe and Ella and Grace and Aubrey and Scarlett and Zoe and Addison, Lily and Natalie, Hannah and Aria. And that's just my first period class. There's Layla and Brooklyn and Alexa and Zoe, Penelope, Ryla, oh yeah, Leah and Audrey, Savannah and Alice and Samantha and Nora and Skylar. There's Camilla and Anna and Paisley and Ariana and Ellie and Aaliyah and Claire and Violet says Sadie and Mila and Gabriella and Lucy, oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, dude, that guy got around. If I were his boss, I'd be pissed off too, man. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, really? Every woman in the class. You named him Steve too. Was he also banging guys? Who knows? That motherfucker had a full dance card. He might have snuck one in. So here's what I want. I know there's got to be some of y'all in here. Some of y'all in here. Some of y'all listening that have or have known people having sex with professors. And I will even say people having sex with teachers. I want y'all to write these in. JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. Write these in. I want to hear these stories. I want to hear the complications. I want to hear the agony and the ecstasy. All right, yeah, and on both sides. If you're friends with the professor that's fucking a student. If you're friends with Matthew Broderick or Reese Witherspoon on either side of election. All right. Yeah, how much time do we got? Ah, crap. I don't know if we got time for this. Let me do it real quick. Man, so I used to live in New York briefly. Lived in Queens briefly. Worked in New York for longer. Worked in New York for about 2 years. And lived in Hoboken. Hoboken, the friendliest hobo. And when I left to New York, there was a weird situation that happened. All my friends thought I was dying. People in New York, man, they it's a city of 8 million people plus. They got a hard time sometimes thinking outside the fact that there's another place outside of New York. And by other place, I mean literally any place. So this story came out last week. It's pretty funny. There's this startup, which I think is only on the West Coast. I don't even know if it's in New York, called Bodega. The idea is it's an app-powered convenience store, or a vending machine. Fuck convenience store. It's a vending machine that you use with an app. So you say, shit, I need things. You open up the Bodega app. You go to a convenience box. You buy the shit through the app. You open up the thing. You grab the stuff. That's it. But New York went wild, man. New York went crazy because it's called Bodegas, and it just fit inside the narrative of like this idea that these Silicon Valley douchebag bros are trying to ruin everything. And so they're trying to kill the bodega. Man, no one's trying to kill the bodega. It's named Bodega because people out here in the Bay Area don't know what the fuck a bodega is. I've said it. I've been like, let's just go pick that up at the bodega. Or I used to work in the Mission, and there was some place that sold lucha masks. And I was like, oh, let's just go to the bodega with the lucha masks. People are looking at me like my nostrils are buttholes and poop's falling out. I'm like, what are you looking at me like that for? They're like, what the fuck's a bodega? Bodega's a corner store. Oh, okay. So these people just thought like they had a good name. Next thing you know, New Yorkers take it like somebody's trying to shoot them right in the nipple. They're like, fuck you. Fuck you. Saying it's going to replace bodegas. You invented a vending machine, you piece of shit. You piece of shit. And then they get super uppity about their egg sandwiches. They got, no, bodega is not where Yoda lives. I see you.
Egg and sausage sandwich you will have.
Because a lot of these bodegas do. They've got little buffets. They've got, sandwiches in the morning. Yeah, but they're not trying to be that. It's a name. I'll tell you what. It's a good thing they didn't name it anything else. It would get people all pissed off. Here's some of the tweets. Real Life Kaz. I actually follow Real Life Kaz. He's a wrestling guy. My own mother won't make me a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich at 4 a.m. while drunk. Don't tell me a bodega don't love me. Helen Rosner writes, it's not just a vending machine. It's a vending machine that requires a phone, a data plan, a credit card, access to private spaces. The fact that they're actually naming the company Bodega and it uses a cat logo is messed up on its own. You can't replace a bodegas with a box. Man, I don't know what it is. New Yorkers get really, really feisty about stuff, man. Like, I think it's just because they take that center of the universe shit seriously. I don't know. It's just me throwing a little shade on New York. Come get some. Let's go ahead and get into your emails. JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. Defend the bodega for me, folks. Defend that bodega. Open Bayou says, people aren't upset about the name. People are upset that another Silicon Valley startup wants to take over the world and people are starting to fight back. Man, what if they just want to sell you shampoo when no other store is open? What if that's what they want to do? Like, can it just be that? Does it have to be taking over the world? Why can't it just be these idiots want to put out a box? And by the way, maybe the box sucks. I think there's one here. Let me try to download this. Here app. Let's see if I can't find a box. Maybe I'll end this stream by going to a bodega box and trying to get some shit. Here we go. By the way, you can email us, JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. Again, that is JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. We got a bunch of stuff here. I asked you all last week if you could. All right, we got the Bodega app downloading. If you could cure an ailment that you have with the illegal drug that you are most afraid of using for whatever reason, would you do it? Would you do it? We will get to that in a second. Matthew wrote about the well, here we go. Let's read this. This is kind of about that. Sorry to hear that the back isn't getting much better. I myself suffered from chronic back pain when I was in my teens because of some errors at the gym. Took me 6 or so months before I did anything about it. Like you, I was afraid about potential issues with painkillers, so I went to a chiropractor. Bam, I was healed. Took about 6 weeks of work to make it happen, but now I can barely recall what the pain was like. However, I still sleep on my side because of it. Some habits never fade away. This isn't me saying going to a chiropractor, just that I have shared in your fear of addiction. It's a healthy caution that you have, so don't find that your life spirals out of control. Additionally, I've been around people who have suffered much higher and longer forms of chronic pain, and it is nightmarish. The pain is nearly all-consuming, and the longer it goes, the harder it is for people to relate. Opiates are also a bitch, and while the pain does go away, it always comes back. Many I have known turned to marijuana and other illegal drugs to get by because either prescribed opiates were not working well enough, too addicting, or too costly. Please be careful going forward, and good luck. Oh, I also wanted to point your attention to 2 episodes from the Crack Gets Personal podcast series, where recently was called 3 Wild Stories from Inside the Opioid Epidemic and How Illegal Drugs Saved Our Lives. Both of these episodes are extremely frank and human examinations of how the United States views drugs and treats addicts, and how we use what we think is harmful to be very helpful. Thank you for bringing this topic up. It's deeply fascinating to me, and I wanted to see more people properly educated with the real facts. Keep up with the good work, and please don't die. Two Walrus writes, I definitely take cocaine to beat obesity. Insurance doesn't cover it. It's pretty good. Anonymous Diamond writes, I would say one of my most prominent ailments is a fear of drugs, including prescriptions. I get paranoid that they will make me nauseous. Example, one time I was prescribed a Xanax. I was so worried it would make me vomit. I thought the easiest way to avoid it would just be to not eat. Ironically, having an empty stomach is what made me ill. Now Xanax has the opposite effect on me of what it's supposed to. Xanax is the drug of choice to fix short-term anxiety. So in a way, your question to me would be worded as, would I take prescription Xanax to cure my fear of prescription Xanax? Essentially, I'm being asked to solve a paradox with a paradox. In an English language, if you use a negative to accompany a negative, they cancel each other out. A paradox is essentially a negative towards a positive reality. Combine that with another paradox, and not only would the negative negate the negative, but the 2 positives would also cancel each other out, rendering the prescription ineffective. TLDR, no. Tyler writes, I suffer from depression, and I am all in on the idea of the possibility of treating depression with mushrooms. For me, it's a no-brainer since I believe psychedelics like mushrooms have a lot of potential for possibly treating mental illness, like depression and PTSD. Even if the drug I had to take was heroin, which is my biggest fear with regards to street drugs, I would still be more than willing to give it a try. That being said, my conditions to try it would be that the treatment has undergone the normal testing process and a professional would be monitoring the treatment closely. Yeah, I think that was part of the hypothetical. By the way, love the show and a bunch of other projects that you do. Thanks for making me laugh and putting a smile on my face. Well, hey, thank you, Tyler. Anonymous Diamond writes, my mom is looking at or ignoring that she needs hospice for renal failure and not wanting to do dialysis. She hates morphine for various past reasons. And on the thing of note to you, hospice says they have morphine that goes under the tongue, so no needles. Jeez, that's a little cold. No, thanks for writing in, Anonymous Diamond. And finally, Everett writes, on the last JuRY, someone didn't catch that name, mailed in about feeling ostracized due to political and religious beliefs. I would like to make an open invitation to that guy and anyone else who feels the same. So hit me up, Everett Weikesel. That is EVARICWEICKSEL on Twitter, or look me up on Facebook, Everett Weikesel. Pretty confident I'm the only one. I love talking to people with different perspectives, and I got plenty of experience. I come from one of those unconsciously racist northeastern white families JuRY's always talking about, but I live in Mexico. I'm a Satanist, but I have plenty of Christian, Jewish, Muslim, and Buddhist friends and family. Hell, I live in the most Catholic country in the world. I have the right to vote in both America and Canada, but I never have because I always find myself agreeing about 10% with every available party and candidate. In other words, I am not going to judge anyone and subscribe to the JuRY school of we are all more alike than different. Que te vaya bien. Tell you what, there you go. No more excuses. There's no more place to say that you are isolated because of your political beliefs. Go talk to Everett, the Satanist American living in Mexico. There we go. He wants to talk to you. Satanists in Mexico are waiting to talk to you right now. Go ahead and check that out. You can go ahead and check us out by emailing us, justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. Again, justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. Remember Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, Justin R. Young. Join the conversation at diamondclub.reddit.com. Till next week, ladies and gentlemen, this is your old pal, Justin Robert Young, letting you know that your old pal here in Oakland, California is hoping that you please don't die. I'm going to go hit up the bodega.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.